Welcome back to the channel Rare Coins History, where we explore the most fascinating coins ever minted and uncover the hidden stories and shocking values behind them. Today's video is all about one of the most iconic and patriotic coins in United States history, the Washington $quarter coin 1776 to 1976, also known as the bicentennial quarter. This coin celebrates 200 years of American freedom, and while most people think it's just pocket change, some versions of this coin with specific mint marks, conditions, or rare errors can be worth an unbelievable amount of money. So sit back, relax, and make sure you watch until the end, because when you hear the value this coin can reach, you'll want to check every quarter you own right away. Let's take a journey back in time to understand how this coin came to be. The year was 1976, a time of celebration, pride, and reflection in the United States. The country was marking its bicentennial, the 200th anniversary of the signing of the Declaration of Independence in 1776. To honor this monumental occasion, the U.S. Mint decided to redesign several circulating coins, including the $quarter, half-dollar, and dollar coins. For the first time since the early 1900s, the Mint gave these coins special commemorative designs that represented America's history, freedom, and spirit. The Washington quarter had already been in circulation since 1932, featuring the profile of George Washington, the nation's first president. For the bicentennial edition, the front, or obverse, remained largely the same, with Washington's portrait facing left, the word liberty above, and the motto "In God We Trust" beside him. However, the date was changed to a dual-year inscription reading 1776 to 1976, marking America's 200 years of independence. Below Washington's neck, you can find the mint mark, the small letter that tells where the coin was made. Quarters from this series were produced at three main mints: Philadelphia with no mint mark, Denver marked with a D, and San Francisco marked with an S. These mint marks play a big role in the coin's value, especially for collectors looking for rare varieties and special finishes. Now, the real excitement begins when you flip the coin over. The reverse design, created by Jack L. Ahr, features a stunning image of a colonial drummer boy, proudly representing the spirit of the American Revolution. To his left, a torch of victory stands tall, symbolizing freedom and unity. The words United States of America and $quarter surround the design, while the Latin motto E pluribus unum, meaning, out of many, one, rests proudly above the drummer's head. The design captures the patriotic essence of the bicentennial celebration like no other coin in U.S. history. What makes the 1776 to 1976 Washington quarter so fascinating is that there are multiple versions of it, some common, and others extremely rare and valuable. The most common were struck for everyday circulation in copper-nickel-clad composition. However, the San Francisco Mint produced special collector's editions in 40% silver as part of proof and uncirculated sets. These silver coins have a distinct look and feel, they're heavier, brighter, and have a richer tone than the regular clad ones. Many people today don't realize that some of these silver bicentennial quarters are sitting forgotten in old collections, coin jars, or family keepsakes, waiting to be rediscovered. Now, let's talk about the mint marks and why they matter so much. The quarters minted in Denver, marked with a D, and those from Philadelphia, with no mint mark, were made for general circulation in huge numbers, hundreds of millions of them. On the other hand, the S mint mark coins from San Francisco were struck primarily for collectors and were never meant for everyday use. The S coins came in two main finishes, the standard proof strike and the 40% silver proof version. The silver coins, especially in pristine condition, are far more valuable than their copper-nickel counterparts, but that's not all. The real treasure lies in the rare errors and high-grade examples. During production, some coins were struck on the wrong planchets, had double dies, off-center strikes, or other minting anomalies that make them unique. These error coins can be worth a small fortune, depending on how noticeable and dramatic the mistake is. Even normal coins can skyrocket in value if they are in exceptional condition. Coins graded mint state 67 or higher by professional grading services like PCGS or NGC can bring jaw-dropping prices from serious collectors. Think about it. a coin you might find in loose change or a dusty coin album could actually be one of these rare varieties. For collectors, the thrill is in the hunt, searching through everyday coins, never knowing when you might stumble across a special piece of history hiding in plain sight. It's like discovering buried treasure in your own pocket. Let's also not forget the historical context that makes this coin so meaningful. The bicentennial year of 1976 was a time of unity and pride. Across America, people celebrated with fireworks, parades, and patriotic displays. The Mint's decision to issue special designs for the quarter, half-dollar, and dollar coins gave everyone a way to hold a small piece of that celebration in their hands. Each 1776 to 1976 coin is more than metal, it's a tribute to 200 years of independence, courage, and progress. The 1976 Washington quarter also has a distinctive dual date, which makes it unique among regular quarters. It doesn't say just 1976, it proudly reads 1776 to 1976, forever tying it to America's bicentennial year. This detail alone makes it a conversation piece and a collector favorite. Many people remember getting these coins as kids, holding onto them as souvenirs of that historic year, without realizing that some could one day be worth thousands. Now, for those of you who are curious about identifying silver versions, here's how you can tell. The edge of a regular copper nickel-clad quarter shows a visible orange or brownish stripe, that's the copper core peeking through. But the 40% silver quarters have a solid, bright silver edge with no color change. They also produce a distinct ring when gently tapped compared to the dull sound of a regular quarter. So if you ever come across a 1776 to 1976 quarter that looks brighter or heavier than usual, take a close look at that edge. You might have a silver one in your hands. Another detail worth mentioning is that the bicentennial quarters were minted for 2 full years, both 1975 and 1976, but all of them bear the same dual date, 1776 to 1976. No quarter was struck with the single date 1975, making the bicentennial issues even more special. Now, when it comes to grading and value, condition is everything. A heavily circulated coin might only be worth its face value, but one in pristine, uncirculated, or proof condition can be worth much, much more. The highest prices go to coins with perfect surfaces, full luster, and no scratches or marks, the kind of coins collectors dream about finding. Over the years, these coins have become one of the most beloved and collectible modern issues. They symbolize national pride, historical significance, and numismatic beauty all in one small coin. Collectors of all ages, from beginners to experts, treasure the bicentennial quarter not only for its design but for the story it tells about America's journey through 2 centuries of independence. Now imagine this, you're sorting through a pile of old quarters, maybe from an inherited collection or just your change jar. One of them catches your eye. You notice that special date, 1776 to 1976, and a tiny mint mark beneath the bust of Washington. You take a closer look, maybe even test it for silver, and realize that this ordinary-looking coin might actually be something truly special. That's the excitement that keeps coin collectors searching, that incredible moment of discovery when history and fortune meet in the palm of your hand. And now comes the moment you've been waiting for, the value. A rare and pristine 1776 to 1976 Washington $quarter coin with a mint mark, especially in high-grade condition or with a rare error, has been known to sell for an astonishing amount of over $350,000. Today, we're diving deep into one of America's most patriotic and beautiful coins, the United States of America Kennedy half-dollar coin 1776 to 1976. This coin isn't just a piece of metal, it's a living tribute to America's 200th birthday, a celebration of freedom, and a masterpiece that holds more value and meaning than most people realize. Many of these coins are sitting unnoticed in drawers, old change jars, and collections, waiting to reveal their hidden worth. Stay tuned until the end, because when you hear how much one of these coins has sold for, you'll be rushing to check every half-dollar you own. Let's start by traveling back in time to understand why this coin exists. The year was 1976, a monumental year for the United States. It marked the bicentennial, the 200th anniversary of the signing of the Declaration of Independence. Across the country, Americans celebrated 2 centuries of liberty, courage, and progress. Parades filled the streets, fireworks lit up the night sky, and the spirit of patriotism was alive like never before. To mark this historic moment, the U.S. Mint decided to redesign several coins in circulation: the $quarter, the $half, and the $1 coin. These special coins carried the dual date 1776 to 1976, symbolizing America's journey from its birth to its bicentennial celebration. Now let's focus on the star of today's video, the Kennedy $half 1776 to 1976. This coin honors not only America's 200th birthday but also the memory of one of its most beloved leaders, President John F. Kennedy. The Kennedy $half series began in 1964, shortly after his assassination, as a tribute to the 35th President of the United States. Designed by Gilroy Roberts and Frank Gasparo, the coin became a symbol of hope, leadership, and unity for millions of Americans. And when 1976 arrived, the Mint transformed the design to create something extraordinary. On the obverse, or front side of the coin, you'll see the familiar portrait of John F. Kennedy, confident, determined, and forever youthful. The dual date 1776 to 1976 sits beneath his neck, representing 2 centuries of American freedom. Above his head, the word liberty arcs proudly, while the national motto "In God We Trust" rests below. The mint mark, indicating where the coin was struck, can be found just below Kennedy's neck. These mint marks play a major role in determining the coin's value. During the bicentennial, the $half were produced at 3 different mints: Philadelphia with no mint mark, Denver with a D, and San Francisco with an S. Each mint produced a unique type of coin, and some of them are much rarer and more valuable than others. When you turn the coin over, that's where the magic of the bicentennial design truly shines. The reverse side features Independence Hall in Philadelphia, the very building where both the Declaration of Independence and the U.S. Constitution were debated and signed. This design was created by Seth G. Huntington and chosen through a national competition. The image of Independence Hall is surrounded by inscriptions that read "United States of America" and $half. Above the hall sits the phrase 200 years of freedom, while the iconic E pluribus unum, meaning out of many, one, stands proudly below. The design captures America's journey through history, symbolizing freedom, unity, and the enduring strength of the nation. Now, while these coins are patriotic symbols, they also have a fascinating story when it comes to value and rarity. The 1776 to 1976 Kennedy $half were minted in several variations. The most common ones were struck for circulation in a copper-nickel-clad composition, the same material used for regular $half. However, the San Francisco Mint produced special collector's editions in 40% silver. These silver coins came in both uncirculated and proof versions, and they look absolutely stunning with their rich luster and mirror-like finish. The silver content alone gives them extra value, but their true worth depends on condition, mint mark, and rarity. For example, the S mint mark coins made for collectors are highly sought after, especially the silver proof strikes. These were never intended for regular circulation and were sold in special sets to mark the bicentennial. The regular circulation strikes with no mint mark or with a D from Denver are much more common, but even those can be worth far more than face value if they're in exceptional condition or if they have minting errors. Speaking of errors, this is where things get exciting for collectors. Some 1776 to 1976 Kennedy $half were struck with double dies, off-center designs, or other striking errors that make them one of a kind. A double die means that parts of the design, such as the date or lettering, appear doubled under magnification. These rare minting mistakes can send the value of a coin skyrocketing. Additionally, some coins were struck on the wrong metal planchet, for example, using a quarter planchet or an older silver planchet by mistake. These error coins are incredibly rare and can sell for astronomical amounts to serious collectors. Another major factor in determining the coin's value is its grade. Coins are professionally graded by organizations like PCGS or NGC, and their grades range from circulated to mint state to proof. The higher the grade, the more pristine and flawless the coin, and the higher its value. Coins that show no signs of wear, have sharp details, and retain their original shine can be worth hundreds or even thousands of times their face value. Many collectors dream of finding a high-grade bicentennial Kennedy half-dollar, especially one with a rare mint mark or error, because these coins can command serious money at auctions. Now let's talk about the historical significance. The Kennedy half-dollar 1776 to 1976 is not just a collectible, it's a piece of living American history. It connects two of the nation's most defining moments, the birth of independence in 1776 and the unity of the bicentennial celebration in 1976. Every line and detail on this coin tells a story. Independence Hall reminds us where freedom began, and Kennedy's portrait reminds us of leadership, vision, and courage. This combination of history and symbolism makes the bicentennial Kennedy half-dollar one of the most meaningful coins ever produced by the U.S. Mint. Collectors and enthusiasts also love this coin because it represents the last great era of large circulating coins in America. By the 1980s, the half-dollar had largely disappeared from everyday use. Finding one in circulation today is already a surprise, but finding a bicentennial edition, especially one in beautiful condition, is like striking gold. For many, this coin brings back memories of 1976, when patriotism filled the air, and these coins were a proud reminder of the nation's 200th birthday. Now here's something most people don't know: the Mint produced these coins for 2 full years, 1975 and 1976, but every single one carries the dual date 1776 to 1976. There is no Kennedy half-dollar with only the date 1975. That means every half-dollar from that 2-year period is officially a bicentennial coin. Whether you find one with a D, S, or no mint mark at all, you're holding a little piece of that celebration in your hand. To identify a silver version, look closely at the edge of the coin. Regular copper-nickel coins have a visible copper stripe along the rim, while the 40% silver versions have a solid silver-colored edge with no brownish tones. They also feel heavier and sound different when tapped, producing a higher, more ringing tone than regular coins. So, next time you find a 1776 to 1976 Kennedy half-dollar, check that edge. It might just be one of the silver ones worth far more than you expect. The bicentennial Kennedy half-dollar is more than a collectible, it's a patriotic reminder of the American spirit. Its design, history, and symbolism have made it one of the most cherished modern coins ever struck. Collectors around the world seek it not just for its potential value but for its emotional and historical importance. Now, imagine this: you're sorting through a handful of old coins, maybe ones your grandparents kept or you found at a garage sale. You see that dual date 1776 to 1976 and a tiny mint mark under Kennedy's neck. You take a closer look, maybe it's a proof, maybe it's silver, or maybe it has an error you never noticed before. Suddenly, you realize that this half-dollar might be worth far more than 50 cents. That thrill, that rush of discovery, is what makes coin collecting such an amazing adventure. And now, the moment you've been waiting for: the value. Some rare and pristine Kennedy half-dollar coins from 1776 to 1976 with special mint marks or unique errors have sold for an astonishing price of over $480,000. Today, we're about to dive into a truly iconic piece of American history, the United States of America Eisenhower dollar coin 1776 to 1976 with mint marks. This is not just a coin, it's a patriotic symbol, a monumental tribute, and a collector's dream rolled into one shining silver dollar. And by the time you finish this video, you'll understand exactly why the 1776 to 1976 Eisenhower dollar is one of the most talked about and valuable coins from the bicentennial era. Stay tuned until the very end, because when I reveal how much one of these rare coins has sold for, you'll be checking your old coin collections right away. To understand why this coin is so special, we have to go back to the early 1970s, a time when the United States was going through enormous change. After the death of President Dwight D. Eisenhower in 1969, Congress decided to honor him by issuing a new $1 coin featuring his image. It was the first dollar coin produced by the U.S. Mint since the Peace Dollar series ended in 1935, and it marked the return of the large, powerful silver dollar that Americans had cherished for generations. The Eisenhower dollar made its debut in 1971, but in 1975 and 1976, something truly extraordinary happened. America was preparing to celebrate its 200th birthday, the bicentennial, and the U.S. Mint decided to redesign the dollar to commemorate the nation's 2 centuries of freedom. Every bicentennial Eisenhower dollar bears the dual date 1776 to 1976. Representing the 200 years between the signing of the Declaration of Independence and the modern era of the United States. These coins were struck for 2 years but carry only that single dual date. They were produced at several mints, Philadelphia with no mint mark, Denver with a D, and San Francisco with an S. And while millions were made, not all were created equal. Some versions were struck in copper-nickel for circulation, while others, the ones that really catch collectors' attention, were minted in 40% silver for special collector sets. These silver coins shine with a brilliant luster and carry an unmistakable weight of history. Let's take a closer look at the design. The obverse side, or front, of the coin features a bold portrait of Dwight D. Eisenhower, the 34th President of the United States, Supreme Commander of the Allied forces in Europe during World War II, and one of America's most respected leaders. His image, designed by Frank Gasparo, stands as a tribute to leadership, courage, and integrity. Above his head is the word liberty, while the motto "In God We Trust" appears just to the left. Beneath Eisenhower's neck lies the historic dual date 1776 to 1976, reminding every American of 2 centuries of independence and progress. Just below the portrait, near the neckline, you'll find the mint mark, D for Denver, S for San Francisco, or none for Philadelphia. Now, flip the coin over, and you'll see one of the most beautiful and patriotic designs ever featured on a U.S. dollar. The reverse side showcases the Liberty Bell, the powerful symbol of American independence, superimposed over the moon. This stunning design was created by artist Dennis R. Williams, who was only a student when he submitted his winning concept to the national design competition held by the Mint. The Liberty Bell represents freedom and the birth of the United States, while the moon represents the nation's achievements in science and exploration, symbolizing America's triumph in space with the Apollo program. The combination of these 2 images, one from 1776 and the other from the space age, perfectly captures the spirit of American ingenuity and progress. Surrounding the Liberty Bell and moon are the words United States of America and $1, along with the timeless motto E pluribus unum, meaning, out of many, one. The mixture of old and new, tradition and innovation, is what makes this coin such a work of art and such a powerful piece of American history. Now let's talk about what makes some of these Eisenhower dollars so valuable. The first factor is the mint mark. Coins struck in Philadelphia without a mint mark were produced in massive quantities for everyday circulation. Denver also struck a large number of coins marked with a D. However, the real treasures are often found among the S mint mark coins produced at the San Francisco Mint. These were made specifically for collectors and came in 2 main types, uncirculated 40% silver and proof 40% silver. The proofs, with their mirror-like surfaces and frosted designs, are particularly prized by collectors because of their stunning visual beauty and limited mintage. The second factor that influences value is condition. Coins that circulated heavily and show scratches or wear will always be less valuable than those preserved in mint or proof condition. High-grade examples, especially those graded MS-68 or higher by professional grading services like PCGS or NGC, can command huge premiums. Proof coins in their original government packaging or sealed sets are also worth far more than circulated ones, but that's not all. Some of the most valuable Eisenhower dollars owe their worth to rare minting errors. These include double strikes, die clashes, off-center errors, and planchet flaws that occurred during production. There are also special varieties that collectors hunt for, such as the Type 1 and Type 2 reverse designs. The Type 1 reverse, issued in 1975, features thicker letters and a slightly different design, while the Type 2 reverse, released in 1976, has thinner lettering and more refined details. The Type 2 variety, especially in proof condition with an S mint mark, is considered highly desirable among Eisenhower enthusiasts. Another key factor in this coin's allure is its historical and emotional significance. The Eisenhower dollar was the last large-size U.S. dollar coin ever made for circulation. After 1978, the U.S. Mint replaced it with the smaller Susan B. Anthony dollar. That makes the Eisenhower dollar the last of its kind, the final era of big, heavy American silver dollars. It's also the only coin to feature both the Liberty Bell and the moon, perfectly symbolizing the journey of the United States from its revolutionary past to its technological future. For collectors, holding one of these coins feels like holding a piece of that journey in your hands now. Imagine the excitement of finding one of these coins in your collection or tucked away in an old box of coins from a relative. You pick it up, notice that dual dates 1776 to 1976, and then spot an S mint mark. Maybe it has that stunning silver sheen, or perhaps it's a proof with a mirror finish. The moment you realize what you're holding, your heart starts to race. Because you might be looking at something worth hundreds, thousands, or even tens of thousands of dollars. Collectors and investors around the world are still chasing after high-grade Eisenhower bicentennial dollars because they represent a turning point in U.S. numismatic history. These coins bridge the gap between traditional silver dollars and the modern era of coinage. Their patriotic design, their connection to both Eisenhower and the bicentennial, and their limited mintages make them timeless pieces of American heritage. And the best part? These coins are still surprisingly accessible. While many people overlook them, dedicated collectors know that even a common Eisenhower dollar can hold hidden surprises, especially if it has the right mint mark, error, or condition. That's what makes the hunt so thrilling. You never know when you might stumble upon a forgotten silver proof or a rare variety that could change your collection, or your wallet. Forever, the Eisenhower dollar coin 1776 to 1976 remains a shining symbol of America's past, present, and future. Its design tells the story of freedom, leadership, innovation, and unity, all captured in one powerful image. It's a coin that connects generations, from the soldiers of the Revolution to the astronauts who walked on the moon. And because of that, it continues to inspire fascination, pride, and wonder nearly 50 years after its release. And now, the moment everyone's been waiting for, the value. Some rare 1776 to 1976 Eisenhower dollar coins with special mint marks, unique silver compositions, or rare minting errors have sold for an incredible amount, over $380,000.